welcome back to the Key. I almost said welcome back to the Key.
Man,
it's just so, it's been, I don't know, I'm having a brain warp right now. Welcome back to the BookFest Club.
There we go.
I'm your co-host Jay, along with my co-host Key. And our co-host Jules, he just finished recording with us. Y'all gonna wait to see that complete episode. It's gonna be fire. But
it's fire.
Right now, it's just me and Key, and we're gonna be doing Curvy Girl Summer, a book by Danielle Allen, who I did not think had it. This is my first, not my first romance, but my first Danielle Allen book. And I can't wait till y'all hear what I got to say about this book. First off, though, as we do always, Key, how was your week thus far?
My week is good. Again, still being drugged through the mud with this sleep schedule, working night shift. I like the money more than my body likes the shift, but I am struggling through that. How are you, Jay?
Doing good, man. I'm doing all right, hanging in there day by day. Can't wait till we get into this book.
Yeah,
oh
Jay.
My God.
Jay really liked this book.
I really, this book read to me like a movie. Like
when I read the book, I automatically thought of Jay. Ahmad and Jay have that same like funny energy. So I definitely was like recommended it to Jay to read because I felt like he would like it. So I'm glad that you liked it.
No, we got a rubric for everything. So here's our Curvy Girl Summer romance rubric written by yours truly, Key, of the BookFest Club. First impressions, right? What were your initials? Well, no. Why am I doing it?
Yeah,
we're gonna do this like before I let go.
Okay,
let's go. I'm tripping. Let's go.
First impressions. What were your initial expectations going into Curvy Girl Summer? And did the book? This is not on the rubric, but I just want to know: did the book catch your attention when you first started it?
Man, I didn't know, coming off of Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, I didn't know what to expect. I was sitting there like, yo, you're going to have to be better than this, right? And I will give my take. But I just was like, I had high expectations going into this book because I just came off a 5 bookmark romance book.
Before I Let Go was a good one.
So I had very, very high expectations. And did it live up to the hype? It sure did. It sure did. And what was the second one?
Did it catch your attention from the very beginning?
Immediately.
I know why I called.
Immediately, my son was getting, and I can remember it, 10 inches of long, hard, shut your mouth. But she was getting punished.
The book starts with the FMC Aaliyah getting bent over the counter as she has sex with her ex-boyfriend, Matthew. So if you have read the book or you have not, be sure to expect that. I will say, just like Jay, I had high expectations for this book because the Curvy series is one that people have been raving about. Big Girl Blitz, which is Danielle Allen's book in the Curvy series, comes out next month. And I got accepted for that arc on NetGalley. So I was so excited. I had very high expectations going into this. And just like Jay said, from the very first page, like Leah is getting bent over, getting done by her boyfriend, Matthew. So it starts off on this very, very fiery scene. And Jay, what was your initial impressions of Aaliyah, who is our FMC of the book?
I thought she was sexy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cause the way, and let's make some noise. We got to really shout out Wesley Saban.
Yeah.
She makes the book sound like you're there.
Okay, you did the audiobook. Okay.
Yeah, I did the audiobook. She makes it sound like you're right there. And I just was like, the emotions, the feeling, the deeper, the climax part. It just was like, yo, this is what I expected, but not so early in the book. Because we didn't get that from the last book we were just talking about until more towards the end. But the fire was still here. We get it. Pound Town first quarter. You know what I'm saying? Opening the door to Pound Town. So immediately.
And I would say I really liked Aaliyah from the beginning. She is a computer programmer. I really love that. This book is a curvy girl book, so you know that the author made sure to to include some, curvy girl descriptions, and especially fat phobia. That's something that, fat phobia is a thing. Samira is one of the people that I follow on TikTok. She is one of my favorite content creators, and she's always been very vocal about speaking about fat phobia. And so going into this book, I had her in my mind and all of these things that happened. Did you feel like the fat phobia in this book was accurately represented?
Yes, because of all the people that she met at the bar, right?
Yeah.
These are shallow dudes on the internet that really got a problem with plus size females, right? Even when she meets, I can't remember his name, but when she meets the dude, he's like, yo, you're a lot bigger. You're a lot bigger in person than you are in your picture. She's like, yo, we FaceTime, we did all of this. And he's like, yeah, but And then the firefighter calling her fat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different dates that she went on every Friday at our Meds bar. And it was like, it was talked about throughout the book. Her uncle ain't giving her the yacht until she get married, lose some weight,
and
you know
get
what I'm saying?
Man.
And get a man.
That was one thing I felt like. I definitely think that there were instances of fat phobia that made sense. The fact that, like, on the dating app, that guy was like, no fatties. And even the guy who had a fetish for fat girls, like, he was like, oh yeah, y'all cook the most. Y'all good at sex. Y'all got the best, la, la, la.
Yeah.
But then there were other instances that I felt like didn't really make sense. You remember the part she's at the club or she's at the bar and this guy just basically comes up to her and he's like, yeah, I'll take the fat one. Like, he just literally comes. I was just like, that doesn't happen. Like, would a guy go up and just be like, I'll take the fat one?
Not to your face.
But okay, that was my thing.
It happens.
He can't think that he's going to say this to this girl and she's going to be like, oh yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. And then,
well, no, it's guys out there like that. I'm sorry. They are guys out there like that. Well, yes, because I have a friend that's like that. Like, yeah.
But I feel like it's one thing to talk about fat girls with your friends. Like, oh yeah, I like fat bitches. And, you know,
we said it to the person.
He said it to the.
Yeah, like.
That is. Yeah. When I read it, I found it to be a tad bit like unrealistic because I was like, there's no way that this is how he's going to pick up a girl and saying, I'll take the fat one. Like, I was like, what? And then you mentioned her uncle. That whole thing for me went on way too long. It's like 20 pages in the beginning where the uncle is going on and on. This is the uncle. He's like, I want to give you a yacht, but I can't because you're single. And the reason why you're single is because you're fat. And I was just like, what does her weight have to do with you giving her a yacht? And he felt like.
We all know an uncle that's like that. Or a family member that's like that.
I did feel like I didn't like how that was just extended. Every time we talk to the uncle, he's always bringing up her weight, especially because he's a fat ass himself. Mm-hmm. But we do have family members who don't have any care and any track the way they talk about people. Like, you need to fix this. You're losing weight. You're big. So that is very, very true. Did you feel like, because this is a Curvy Girl book, Aaliyah is the FMC, and it's called Curvy Girl Summer because she is looking for her birthday boo. Okay, her birthday party is coming up. Her family expects her to have a man, so she's going on all these dates from the dating app so she can find her birthday boo. Do you feel like she was confident in her body, or do you feel like she was insecure? Do you feel like she represented curvy girls adequately?
I felt like both. I felt like she was confident in her body because she does tell her uncle and you know, she does feel confident in her body, but she also questions herself. Like, what is it about me that I can't, you know, continue to keep a man, or why is it that I'm not? Because even at the concert, right, with her friends,
India Love,
you know, yeah. So it was just like, I could see it being both for her. I could see it being a shot of her confidence as she goes out on different dates. You know, I like the way Danielle Allen did it. She took plenty of fish and Tinder and made it tender fish.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't peep that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like the guys she met were a product of projection of what the world really looks at when they look at curvy girls.
I think so too.
Bigger curvy girls, because you can be, you know, a plus size woman and still be curvy. You know? And I think that's what she was trying to portray. Although I'm big, I still have curves.
Yes.
And you got a lot of shallow guys out there who like what they like. And she put it in the book and she represented it well because there are gentlemen out there like that. So I feel like it was a 50-50 split on that one.
I agree. Like I said, I really, I didn't like Aaliyah as a character, and we'll get into that. But I did like that. I feel like she was confident in her body. Like, she's a plus size girl, but she tells her uncle even, I'm healthier than you are. I go to the doctor and get a checkup. I'm not unhealthy. And she talks about how, like, she gets niggas. Like, that's never been a problem. She gets men. It's just, they're not the right men. And she's not going to settle. That was something that I really, really loved. There's this stereotype when it comes to plus size women that they are just like desperate or they'll settle for anything. Like the man being like, yeah, I'll take the fat one, and really thinking that she was going to go for that. And I love that Aaliyah wasn't. She didn't want the man who was married. She didn't want the man who had kids. She didn't want the man that had a fat fetish. Like, she was very, very secure in herself. And she was secure enough to be like, I don't want any of y'all because y'all not the right man. And she was a beautiful girl. Like, the way that Danielle Allen describes Aaliyah, she was sexy as hell. She was sexy. She was thick. She was beautiful. Yep. I love that Danielle had her wearing her natural hair. There's several scenes where she talks about doing a twist out. And I was literally picturing the outfits that Aaliyah wore. She was a bad bitch. She dressed like the heels, the skirt with the slit in it. Like, I'm picturing it like, girl, if I was into women, I'm like, what's up? Because she was described as this badass, beautiful, confident woman. She's this computer programmer. She's confident in her skills. So I really, really like that part. I feel like I like that the story wasn't just about her being a curvy girl. That wasn't the central focus. You know what I mean? It wasn't like she's insecure. No, she's a curvy girl and she's dating.
And I like the fact that she didn't portray her as somebody who was HOE, right?
Yes.
There was one scene, right? Look how long it took. No, I know, but I'm saying the one scene in the beginning, and you thought if you're going into the book and you read that first scene,
you would
you're
think it's gonna be
thinking
bam, bam, bam.
the book is going to portray that going forward. Nah, it doesn't portray that. And I like, to me, it was like, I got it out the way early and I made it respectable. This was your ex-man and she put in the book that she hadn't done anything.
She was
so this was just like one of those, you know what I'm saying? What you call them Jones again? What they call it when you go back? I forgot the name, but I know what you're saying. But yeah, like they go back, and it was like she went back with somebody she was familiar with,
and she says that she didn't want to catch a new body. She
didn't want to catch a new body, so the respectability is there. But she just doubled back to what she already knew, and it wasn't like some random like her friend, her friends, Nina and Jazz. No, Nina and Jazz. You said Hendrix.
No, Hendrix. That's what before I let go.
No, Nina and Jazz.
Shit, I'm messing up.
While Nina and Jazz be like, yo, you need to get out there and get your cheese clap. She like, yo, I went back to him because this is what I know. And if I'm going to do it, it's going to be somebody who I've already done it with. So it's not a new body. And then moving forward,
she wasn't sleeping with the men she was on dates with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So it was a while before we got it to that point. And it was still, think about it. It wasn't a random that night. Even though her friends told her like, yo, just get a random dude, get clapped up.
She didn't. Nope.
Look at the relationship that she built with Ahmed moving through each Friday. Cause these are weeks. These are every weeks. And if she got 5 dates, that's a month. Plus she already had seen Ahmed before all that stuff happened. So, and also time went by throughout their whole thing before she was even doing that. So it wasn't just like she portrayed it in a way where it just flowed for me.
It flowed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to agree with everything you said. Like, I think it definitely flowed. You would think from the beginning of the book, because it starts with a sex scene, that Aaliyah may be a bit promiscuous, but she wasn't. I have to say, I guess I was disappointed with the lack of sex in the book. Like, for me, because I feel like if you're going to start the book on that note, that sets the tone for the book. That lets you know, okay, this is setting the tone for the book. So to have that be the beginning and then not have any sex until almost the very end, I felt like why I put the sex in the beginning then, especially because there was nothing to lead up to it. It was just like, damn, you get it right there in the beginning, which she went back to an ex. I'm not shaming her for that, but just, it's kind of like a pacing issue. I feel like you put that in the beginning and then nothing sexual, nothing until the very end. Maybe I'm a hoe. I was like, I wanted Aaliyah to get them cheeks clapped a little bit more, considering the beginning of the book. I was like, we got that at the beginning. Like, where's that? But I guess, she had to be respectable. And that leads us to our next point, the romance. So this book, like I said, is about Aaliyah. She's looking for her birthday boost. So she gets on a dating app, and every single Friday she meets these men that she meets on these apps at this club called Onyx, where she meets the bartender, Ahmed. Mm-hmm. What did you think of her romance with Ahmed?
Oh man, I thought you talking about the chemistry,
the banter, emotional connection.
The banter was so funny between them. Like you mentioned off screen, when you talking about calling her the Pink Panther, when she had the yellow on. But that's how we do. If you got a bright yellow, if you have a bright yellow dress on or a bright yellow outfit where it's like a yellow top, yellow joint, yellow shoes, I'm gonna be like, "What up, Big Bird? You looking good?" You know what I'm saying? But it's a subtle joke. But I'm gonna be honest, right? This is how. What she caught was how black people are. Black people don't just say, yo, you look nice. And comedians say it all the time. Black people won't compliment you. They be like, where are you going? You know what I'm saying? Or what's the plan for the night? So I felt like she was capturing the realism in how we talk, right? This is a black lead character, black male character, black FMC, black MMC. So this is how we talk, right? You want the readers to relate. You wrote it, you're African American artist. So I felt like that banter was something that we do on a regular basis, even though we're just reading it. Now, the next time you do that to somebody, I want you to pay attention, right? So when you go into it, right? So, cause I do it all the time. You must be going out tonight. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying you look nice or you look gorgeous. But I guess for me,
the banter just got old really fast. I feel like Ahmed had this thing where he would insult her and then give her a compliment. So he would say, "Oh, you look like Big Bird." And then the next sentence, "Yeah, but I didn't say you didn't look beautiful." And there was something narcissistic about it. He would insult her and give her a compliment. I don't know. I guess I just felt like, how like when you were a kid, right? Little boys, they don't know how to tell a girl they like her, so they always pick with her. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And it just felt, okay. I hope you wasn't.
Huh? Huh?
Did you say you fat and dirty?
I liked Alicia Young though. But she tried to come at me.
You talking about women that you like. Yeah, you fat and
I was
dirty.
young. I was like, you fat and you dirty. But I liked her though.
You see, that kind of joking, that's how I felt like Ahmad was. So it was like in the beginning, I liked their banter. But then there were times when he was very rude. Like there's this scene at the very beginning of the book, and she doesn't admit to him that she's gotten stood up, right? And then she finally admits,
funny.
and he's like, "I knew you got stood up." That's what he does, and I've just thought, what's funny about that? There's this other part. He says, I see you were stood up again. He guessed with a slight smile, tugging his face. He's like, ain't nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah,
so I felt like there was a part.
But he's also a bartender. These are how bartenders. And just think about it. The dude wiping the glass.
If he was just a bartender, though, Jay, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But he is supposed to be the love interest. And most
we
of
don't
his
know that yet, though.
I mean,
we know that at the end, but we don't know that, because anything could have happened.
She is falling for him the entire book. So we know that and that was another thing. I feel like the book was really repetitive in that way. Every single Friday, Aaliyah would just, literally, the whole book was, she meets a guy, they talk for a week, they meet at Onyx on Friday, the date crash and burns, her and Ahmad flirt, repeat over and over and over.
But it was different specs
But no character growth came from that. She was just going on dates with shitty men, and that was it. It wasn't like she was learning about herself. They were just shitty dates with shitty men. It did not move the plot along. It was just the same thing over and over. The men are pieces of shit. Rinse, repeat the next week. She didn't change anything. She didn't learn from anything. She did the same thing. And then let me tell you this. Every single date was at Onyx. I don't know. Remember me and you talked about how much we like Applebee's. Listen, we like Applebee's. Do you think that we're going to go to fucking Applebee's every Friday? I don't give a damn how much I loved it. I was like, Aaliyah,
but it was a reason why, though. We got to give perspective. The reason why she was meeting him at Onyx was because her and Ahmed came to basically like a pact that, he would protect her and kind of watch over her, because she know that the first date guys can be creepy. So this is like an open event, like an open bar, and she can always be protected, and he'll watch over her while she go on her date. He's being a friend in the beginning. He's helping her out, like by giving her that, not giving her that platform, but giving her a place to where she can feel safe on her first dates, because you don't know what's going on. So she's setting the scene for every date that comes through, and you get a different perspective of guys when they enter into the junk. You being it's all harsh right now.
I'm not, but to me, she was like, yeah, I'm going to having these dates at this bar with this bartender because he's supposed to watch out for me. First of all, Ahmad is working. Second of all, what does she think was going to happen to her? Instead of going to the same fucking bar every Friday, she went to a restaurant. Is the guy going to try what was Ahmad really going to do? None of them, they were weird and they were creepy, but it's not his job to necessarily scare them off. That's just a part of dating. And I feel like if she went to a different restaurant and Ahmad wasn't there, what danger was she going to be in to where she just had to go to Onyx? Okay. Mm-hmm. I felt like that was I was tired of Onyx, but back to Ahmad. I'm telling y'all, it's not that I didn't like Ahmad. I thought he was a cool guy. I thought that he was funny and I liked their banter, but for him to be the love interest, I wanted him to show that he liked her more. His banter was always
did.
It was just always him joking with her. And then, like I said,
but what they say about if they joke with you?
What does that mean?
That mean they like you.
No, I'm gonna tell you something. There was this guy I used to work with. His name is Kente.
Damn, throw him out there.
No.
What's up, Kente? They would have tore his... I'm glad he didn't go to school in New York. My God.
His name is Kente. And me and him is cool. We're real cool. We're just literally friends. We went to church together and everything. He's married, so it's nothing inappropriate like that. But his way of communicating with me and talking to me was always some insult. You look like Mr. T. You look like an upside down exclamation point. And it was so annoying to me. I was like, you're fucking 40, dude. Can we have a normal fucking conversation? It was always...
Wait a minute. I'm not laughing at you. I wasn't laughing until you said... At 40? He's doing this at 40?
He's probably older than 40, but I just feel like...
when was he doing this?
This was last year. This was when I worked at my previous job.
He said you are upside down exclamation.
I used to wear this head wrap and I used to have this bun at the top. And so he used to tell me I look like an upside down exclamation point. And I came to work one day and I had all these chains on and he was just like, He was just like, you look like Mr. T. Or he was like, look at your shoes. His just way of communicating with me was always some insult. And it just, after a while, I just stopped even fake laughing. And he was like, yeah, my bad. I'm just kidding. But it was like, what's funny about it? And I think that's probably why I didn't like Ahmad's jokey style, because I personally had talked to someone who act like that.
But you said at 40. Because I'm thinking like, bro, why are you doing that at work at 40?
At
like
40.
That's the funny part. But the upside down exclamation point, I never heard that. And telling somebody that at work is crazy. Like the Mr. T stuff, we've heard so many Mr. T jokes for people who had a bunch of jury on. So that doesn't.
But the upside down exclamation point. That's what he said.
At work at 40, it's crazy.
Yes. And it just felt like, grow up. Yeah. This is not funny anymore. It's just, so I guess that's how I felt about Ahmad. And there was parts do you remember the part he gives her a compliment and then he says, well, I just got hit by a car. I was in a car accident, so I wasn't thinking clearly.
But I think he was just trying to lighten the mood. Because she was worried because he was driving.
It's not that I didn't like their banter. I liked it, okay? There were parts I even found funny. But he is the love interest. And the only things that he would say to her of substance was these rude jokes, which you don't think they're rude. Some of them were rude. There was this part where she was checking on him, right? And he was like, you need to be saving that energy to make it through a second date. That's the kind of stuff that he would say to her. Like, her dates were failing. That was something that she was insecure about. Like, damn, I can't find nobody. And he's making jokes about it, And then it was just, I just didn't feel that he liked her, Jay. I just wanted him to be more nicer to her.
Because when the homeboys was at the concert, at the club, whatever concert, he was like hands off.
Situation, Jay. What kind of man you like a girl, and so you tell her, hey, come out with me and my friends. And then he done told his friends her whole business about her dating. And then they're trying to school her on, oh, these are the type of men that you need to be exposed to. And again, it wasn't Aaliyah's fault that her dates were failing. One guy hid the fact that he had kids. One guy hid the fact that he was married. One guy was fat phobic. One guy had a fat fetish. You know what I mean? That is not her fault. She fully vetted these men. They texted, they FaceTimed. She did everything right. And he was still like, you need to smile more on your dates. You need to act more like this. You need to do this. Invited her out for his friends to school her on what kind of men she needs to be interested in. Like, it was her fault. That's why I didn't like.
But she had a good time with the fellas though, man. She loved it.
And let's talk about, we're going to get to, what was the central conflict between Aaliyah and Ahmad half of the book? Tell us, Jay. Why could they not be together? Because
he was wearing his engagement ring, acting as if he was married.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Okay,
and that's the conflict and stakes, right?
That is the conflict of this book. Okay, so they had great banter. The tension, Jay feels like is great. I didn't feel like they had much of an emotional connection. I feel like she was just kissing his ass and laughing at all his jokes. They did have physical chemistry because they have a moment together. But the central conflict of the book, they can't get together in the beginning because Aaliyah thinks that he is married. He wears a wedding ring. She overhears him tell somebody when they ask, yeah, I'm married. So half the book, she thinks that he's married. And that is when I lost respect for her.
Because as she started to fall for, you can't help your feelings, but you can also control your feelings. You can like somebody as a married person, but you like, I would never cross that line, and you stay over there.
And she did cross the line, in my opinion. I felt like, let me ask you something. Put yourself, say your wife had a male coworker, right? And he knows that she's married, and he just is always touching her. Like, he's always hitting her arm. Girl, come here. Grabbing her. They stay after work and they talk. He shows up an hour to talk to her before work, an hour after work. They hang out together. Matter of fact, she goes out with her and her friends, and she's grinding on him while he's dancing on her. Would you be okay with that?
No, we wouldn't be talking.
You see? And so
I'd be in jail.
You see? And so that's how I felt watching Aaliyah act with Ahmad. Now, I figured out early on he wasn't actually married. It just didn't make sense. Like, why, But she, for over half the book, thinks that he's married. And the things that she does with him, thinking that he's married, completely inappropriate. Her touching him all the time, always constantly touching him, Jay. Talking to him. Do you remember the part? They're at the club. And let me find the quote, because she really pissed me off. They're at the club and they're dancing. And she, I'm my way.
Y'all, she is.
Listen to this. This is her talking about dancing on a married man. Even though our bodies were grinding against each other, it wasn't sexual. How is grinding your big ass booty on his penis not sexual?
I mean, it's just a dance. But hold on. West Indians be doing that. They be dancing.
Is she West Indian?
Nah, I'm just saying. I didn't get it.
And then she said he wasn't just standing there letting me twerk on him. So she was twerking. He was actually dancing with me, and he had rhythm. With his hands on my hips, he kept up with me. And I was just thinking, the whole book, she keeps saying, oh, I can't do this. He's married. We're just friends. Then why are you always touching him? Why are you always showing up to talk to him? Why are you grinding on him? Why are you acting like this with a man that's married? And the thing that made it hypocritical, remember, so you think it was okay?
I didn't say it was okay. I just said,
let me ask you, how did you feel?
Because if you go to a club, it's the same thing. If you go out into a club and y'all dancing, you know what I'm saying, you get a grind on the. If you go to a club and you dance with a female, is that cheating? What are you going? That's cheating?
Absolutely. That's absolutely cheating.
Know.
That's absolutely. I'm gonna tell you something. I remember one of the things that me and Michael disagreed on, and this is one. Like I said, we was gonna split. We was about to be done. He had a friend who wanted to go to a strip club. Okay. His friend wanted to go to a strip club. My thing was, Michael got gorilla grip tight ass coochie at home. He got titties at home. Mm-hmm. He can look at my titties. He can see me dance butt naked in a thong. But you want to go to the strip club with your single friends and get her titties rubbed in your face, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, it's just a strip club.
That's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. But
it absolutely is.
It ain't nothing wrong with going to the little strip joint.
Like you just said, if you knew your wife was slow grinding and dancing on her male coworker, you would be in jail. Right? You just said that.
But when you go to a strip club, you can eat chicken and watch. You don't have to do nothing. It just depends on what you're going there for.
It's just certain things you don't do when you're married. Like if I went out with me and my friends, and I've been out before when me and Michael have been married, and I'm doing my dance, I would grind on my female friends and we would do our little slow dance. I'm not going to dance on another nigga because if I feel your dick getting hard, that just feels inappropriate to me. I don't want to be grinding on you when I'm a married woman. So the way that she was, so I didn't want to judge her, Jay. I really didn't. I just felt like I hated that their romance started with her falling in love with him and knowing that he was married. It just felt like,
I got you.
How am I supposed to root for this?
I don't go to the club and grind on the other. I personally can't do that. I do feel like it's I feel like it's inappropriate, but I could understand somebody who doesn't feel like it's inappropriate because if you dance and you move and you keep it pushing, it's nothing. But I also feel like, why am I dancing and grinding on you if I got a woman in the crib?
Yes,
I feel like that, right?
That's how I feel.
There's also married people that go out and they do it because I've seen it for myself.
That's true. So I guess it's just about perspective. I feel like whatever, but this is why I said it was felt hypocritical, right? She didn't want to mess with the man who was married, right? Even Marcus's friend, remember his friend that died from sleeping with a married woman, right? But yet the things that Ahmad does, she doesn't see anything wrong with the way he acts towards her when he's supposed to be married. The way he's calling her beautiful, touching her, grabbing her,
giving her positive affirmations.
Yeah, I just kept feeling like, Aaliyah, you want a man that's yours. Why are you even putting anything into this relationship when you know that he's married? So there was a part of me that I wanted her to find her happy ending, but I already didn't like Ahmad. And I lost respect for her with the way she was acting. Remember that whole scene where she's masturbating to his picture? Do you remember that? It was just like, why was that even needed to be included? It made me dislike her even more because she was like trying to justify, oh, I'm just going to rub one out to Ahmad because that's the last guy I've seen. I know he's married and you know what I mean? I don't know.
I can see it. I can see where you coming. I can see where you coming from on that one. I can see where you coming from.
I was just like, now the conflict is resolved. If you read the book, when Aaliyah, and there was another thing. Did you think that she was a little stupid too?
First off, what happened to my son Marcus? Like, let's be honest. Marcus was there, right? At the end, he was there. Then he wasn't there. First of all, you didn't see Ahmed come in and swoop her up for her first dance for her body after you just gave her a positive jump. Like, yo, you look beautiful. And then she was kind of falling in Ahmad real quick. And then she was falling in Marcus real quick. And all of a sudden, Ahmed come and then Marcus he grabs her up. He dances with her on her. So first of all, Marcus didn't see her dance at that point.
He didn't see her
then
with Ahmad.
He disappears with her and goes upstairs to another room. Where's Marcus? Like, he was just giving her, they was making it seem like Marcus was about to do his thing with her. And I'm like,
Because
and then he just
remember
gone.
he wanted to get with her, but they met at her sister's death anniversary. So
Right.
it just felt inappropriate for him to be hitting on her when she's like grieving. And then they meet later. And the thing is, Marcus was single. He was available. Her thing with him was like, oh, he has a baby face. I'm like, yeah, but he's not married. So why are you fucking... Anyway, the conflict is resolved because we find out. Go ahead, Jay. What do we find out about Ahmad and his
We
marriage
find
situation?
out that he wasn't married, but he was engaged, and him and his fiance had got into it before. He went to pick her up when she was drunk, and they kind of got into a little splat, and they was hit from behind by a drunk driver, and that caused her death. And Ahmad
Yes.
never blamed himself. He blamed himself, and he never got behind the wheel, and they was engaged. So to him, he feels like he's disrespecting her by not acknowledging the fact. I felt like that. He felt like he was disrespecting her by not acknowledging the fact that he was married. Like he was gonna marry her. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect her and act like I'm not married, because it's just like that foregone conclusion. Like I was gonna end up with her regardless.
Yep.
We
Yep.
was
I
gonna get
feel the same
married.
way.
It's
Yeah.
like I wasn't mad at him for keeping the ring, because this is one, you went through a traumatic situation. So it's just like the baby with and before I let go. So it's like this is all I have of you, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that we got into it, would you blame yourself for that?
Yeah, because like
And
we got
it's
in an
like,
argument.
now
Yeah,
I
and
feel
she...
like I pushed you out there, because if we was good, you might not even have went out that night. So even though I came and got you and we was red-ended, it's like, all right, all I have of you that reminds me, that keeps me in a good headspace to where I don't freak out. Because what he said, he hasn't driven in years. So it's like, all I have is this. So I have to keep this on, and I have to respect you in this manner. I have to give you some respect in this manner. And
Yeah.
what's the highest respect you can give to somebody
Wearing
that
that
you was
wedding ring.
engaged to and saying I'm married? And that's
Yeah.
all I took from it.
Well, he also said too that I don't think he was ready to get in a relationship with anybody. He was still healing from that. And it was
Yeah, he was.
easier to just tell people that he was married because he gets hit on at the bar a lot. And it's easier to say it's easier to say, oh, I'm married than to say I'm not
Yeah,
interested. But
because they're
that
gonna
was a
keep
central
coming.
conflict in the book, why Ahmad and Aaliyah, although you can tell they're falling for each other when she's falling for him, she doesn't take it all the way there because she thinks that he's married. And we find out that he's not actually married, but he wears his wedding ring. This is the point where I felt like, okay, now Aaliyah and Ahmad can have their love story, but it still took another 200 pages for them to get together. Did that how you felt about it too? Or did you think they just needed time?
I knew it was going to be too easy. He needed time. It was stuff that he needed to do. It was stuff that she needed to do to kind of get them in that same headspace. So I didn't blame him for that. Plus, I didn't want the book to end, because I was loving
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
loving the interactions with the fireman dude, you know what I'm saying, with the married dude who
So you were
came
having
through and his
fun with her
wife.
dates that she was going on.
I was
Oh,
having
that
so much
scene
fun
remind
with
me
the
of that scene
marriage
from
dude.
what's that, Daddy's Little Girls? Remember she
Yeah.
goes on the date with that guy who's really fine, and then his wife and the kids show up.
Show up.
That's what it
Get
reminds
your
me of.
hands off my dad.
Yes.
So it's like, and she talking crazy, and she knew that the old girl would have beat her up.
Yeah,
And
she
she
even
like,
said
yo,
that
let
was
me
hilarious. She
chill.
was just like, I can't fight. So
I
like,
can't fight. It's all I got is my mouth. So I thought that like
literally.
each date, each Friday, I'm looking for, and as I'm listening to the book, each Friday, I'm just looking forward to the date. Who's the
Yeah.
next guy gonna be? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, who's this guy gonna be? The dude that continues to talk about himself all day long and don't let her get a word in. Like she said, she got a story for everything.
I just felt like, I don't know. I wanted her to come to the realization that she didn't have to find a man just because her family expected that of her, and I just feel like it took the entire book for her to get to that point. Even after her and Ahmad have their little moment in the apartment when he admits that he's not actually married. And she's upset with him, justifiably so, I think. She's literally been spilling her whole life to him, and he couldn't even tell her that he wasn't actually married,
I don't
And
think she deserved it though,
You
because
don't
he
think
didn't know
so?
what was going. He didn't know what was going to happen of it, right? What if she'd have met one of them guys one day and went off into the sunset?
Then why was he... That's another thing. That's why I said I feel like he was playing games with her. He can't wear a wedding ring and come off as a married man, but then still be trying to flirt with her, touching her, calling her beautiful. You know what I mean? Here's my umbrella, grinding her on the club. He was sending mixed signals. And then imagine if I like this guy, but I'm not taking it there because he's married. I'm not doing that. And then I find out he hasn't been married the whole time, that he's been flirting with me, and he still don't even ask me for my damn phone number after that. He didn't even ask for her phone number. He still is just like, yeah, I'm not married anyway, and continue to flirt with her and then encourage her to go on dates with other men. Like, he was sending mixed signals. Like, do you want her or do you not? He would say, hey, here's some earphones to help you not be nervous for your next date. Here's some advice for your next date. But then she goes on the date and he gets mad and pulls her in the stock room so he can have a quickie. You know what I mean? So he...
Well, that wasn't a quickie.
But again, I just feel like she deserved
20 minutes with a curvy girl
better than that.
In an open space. That sounds like 28 seconds to me.
And they didn't use a condom.
Hey, man, sometimes you're prepared, sometimes you're not.
I just felt like, Aaliyah, like, you deserve better than to this man to play in your face.
I'm taking that test. I'm in there. Storage closet love.
Just was like,
I'm just going to take that test.
I just feel like he should have showed his interest beyond taking her to have sex with her in the closet. You know what I mean?
Well, technically it was to press her about old boy.
But and then remember, this is what he says. He apologizes to her, right? Like, and then he says, okay, now it's your turn. And she was like, my turn what? He was like, you need to apologize to me. That is how he talked to her, Jay.
Yeah,
I'm on a sick ticket. Yeah, what the fuck did she have to apologize for? Avoiding you? Why was she not? You literally have been lying about being married, but showing interest. You admit you're not married, and then you still don't make a move on her while flirting with her at the same time.
Apologize.
He did not deserve.
Sometimes you got to talk to people like that. You got to really speak that to her. You know what I'm saying?
Deserve.
And that made her little Johnny little witty. And then, first of all, this is the only part I didn't like in the book.
Okay.
If I'm the guy that took her out on a date, I'm not dropping
where the fuck is she?
I'm not dropping 350s on the table. You think this is what I be talking about. Listen, I felt like that was the only thing I didn't like. You going to let this man eat you, beat you, and then send you back to your date. Then you talk about your stomach hurt. Your stomach do hurt because you're full of cock.
I told you, I lost respect for that girl. I'm like, you're on a date with a whole nother man.
That's the point right there. And a lot of people gave me ish on social media about that. And I'm like, yo, we got to call a spade, man. She was a jumper. She was a jump.
I felt a little bit like that. I already said I lost respect for her doing all that shit with a married man. Like, I just felt like you nasty for that. Like, you leave him alone. He's married. You don't need to. And then she was just, but we're friends. We're just friends. Shut the fuck up. Y'all can't be friends and you falling in love with him. And she was just inappropriate with someone she thought was married. But then you on a date with a man and and the thing, I wanted so much better for Aaliyah. That was the thing. Like, don't let him just take you in the closet. Like, and just has,
that's the first time.
That's the first time.
Nasty
in a closet. He didn't ask you on a date. He didn't express himself. He takes you and y'all having sex in the closet. Like, you deserve better than that. He has literally been
trapped in the closet.
He's been joning on you the whole book while she just laughs, Jay. She just giggles. You're so crazy. Why he's like, you're a hamburger
in the storage closet.
And then he ain't married. And this is the thing, Jay. Remember when he got in the car accident at the hospital and she was so worried about him that she canceled a date to go see him. My thing was, girl,
at one of the top restaurants where you can't get no booking.
Literally. And his sister is not that worried about him because she's still at work. If he was in dire needs, she wouldn't be here. They would find somebody to cover. If his own sister is not worried, where do you get off?
She going there,
cancel your date to go check on him. He has a fucking scratch, Jay. A little scratch.
Listen, but he was trying to, you know.
Are you okay? Are you okay? I know how traumatizing this was. And he didn't care that it was traumatizing that she was getting on these shitty dates. He still felt the need to throw that in her face. And she's giving him all this consideration for what?
Dirt on his day like that.
And then, remember, he gave her his jacket. That part where he was like, here's my jacket. I was just like, and you holding this nigga's jacket? The thing is, Jay, he didn't even ask for her phone number. The only way they could communicate is if she went to the restaurant. Y'all are friends. You care so much about him that you just have to go see him in the hospital. He's just...
And she had to look up his crib number too. She had to go stalk him and get his crib. You don't even know
where he lived. He don't even give you his phone number.
And y'all lived in the same building. That's crazy. That was crazy too. You lived in the same building. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
What about where we at? The
friendship and girlhood. Yes.
I don't have too much to say about this one. I just felt like...
Why?
Because I felt like her friends and his friends is like my friends. Okay. Like his friends is exactly like my boy B and my boy Kurt. That and that's it. Like they are them. That's my friends.
I liked his friends more than I liked him.
That's what I'm saying. That's my friends. So it's hard to explain, But those are my friends in a nutshell. If you read the book, those are how my homeboys, like, I went to, when I first met my wife, my now wife, me, her, and my best friend went to the buffet. And like what you said, we used to say, girl, yo, you still talking to the girl with the red braids? And I'm like, yeah, bro, we gonna go to the buffet. He like, I'm coming too. And he just came with us. Like we all on the bus going in New York, in Queens, going to the Chinese junk. And he just talking. We doing our little dance, like, come here, girl. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. That's all we had. You know what I'm saying? We not rhythm guys. So how they are is exactly how my homeboy was. My homeboys
did
was.
like
So
his friends. I thought that they were really, really
they
cool.
were funny, cool.
I thought they were funny. They were
overly
cool. I did hate that Ahmad. This is again why I said he played in her face.
Super protective. Yeah.
So protective. And the thing is, again, you don't want her because you are not making any kind of effort. You want her to apologize to you. You want her to kiss your ass. You want her to understand that, oh, you're not actually married. But your friends, who you even admit they some good dudes, they trying to holler at her and you trying to stop them. For what? You waited the whole fucking book to give her any attention. So but I did love his friends. What did you feel about her friends, Nina and Jasmine?
They were cool. Now, I forgot.
I didn't like Nina.
Nina's the one who want to get clapped every day, right? Telling her to get clapped up.
Which I didn't find no problem with that. I was like, girl, sexual
live
liberation.
Your life. But she was trying to get clapped. The advice was bad. The advice. Your friend wants something different, and you telling her you telling your friend to be a hoe, but your friend want a relationship. Girl, one night stands and all this extra stuff.
And when Aaliyah even tells her, no, it's not like that, Nina. He's married. She doesn't care. She's like, girl, y'all got chemistry.
Y'all got chemistry.
What? Again, I wanted to like these characters. Trust me. But you got
that's
friend
how some
who's
girls
trying
are, though.
to tell you, fuck his marriage, girl. Y'all got chemistry.
This
Jump
is
on that.
real life. I'm telling you, this is real life.
And I mean, the thing is, I think I'm just sensitive about stuff like that because I'm a married woman. And I had a friend, and this is my girl, love her down bad, but she was even messing with a married man. And there was nothing in me that supported that. I would tell her, leave him alone. He is married. Like, girl, you know, I'm married. Like, that's not right. I am that type of friend. I am never going to encourage you, even if I wasn't married, to mess with a married man because I just think that's extremely disrespectful. And that's not a man you want anyway if he's willing to cheat on his wife with you. What do you think he's going to do when y'all get together? You know? So Nina constantly encouraging this relationship really bothered me a little bit, but I did like how supportive they were. I feel like her, Jasmine, and Nina, they were really close.
For sure.
Yeah, Jasmine was going through stuff with her auntie. Her aunt was passing away. Aaliyah's going through stuff with her family, her sister's death, trying to find a date. Nina doing her sexual liberation thing. I did really love the girls group. And if you're a fan of the Curvy Girl series, there's 3 books and it details each of the friends. Big Girl Blitz is Jasmine's book, and I like that one.
That's the book
I like that one more than I liked any of the other ones. I haven't read Nina's actually, and I refuse because I don't like Nina. I was like,
that's the one I want to read.
Of course you want to read it because you're nasty.
Yeah, that's the one I want to read. I want to see what Nina got going on.
Nina is a
because she got a do for this, a do for that, a do
she
for
got
this.
A fun guy. You know what? I low key may read it because she seems like she's gonna be a fun friend. I just didn't like her trying to.
And I want to see her get put in her place with love. That's the point. I know some dude gonna come around and scoop her ass up because she thinks she untouchable in that manner. So now she got to get touched though.
We talked about this already, but the spice, what would you consider the spice level? It says peppers, like 5 peppers is hot, and then 1 pepper is just like, you know, a little bit.
Call your therapist.
You think so? You think it was hot? You think it was 4 peppers, spicy?
4 peppers, because everything, the first one, she got to it. Like she got to it.
And she's really graphic. She writes sex very, very well. You can picture every single thing, like the noises,
the storage closet,
everything.
Crazy.
Making
you talk.
It was.
Talk to me through the whole thing. Check.
It was steamy. There was only 2 sex scenes, but
3. The ending.
The ending. Oh, yeah, because they do get busy in the end when they finally get together. Yeah.
Exactly my point. Yeah. So,
it
was enough.
Steamy. It was just enough. Yeah.
Because that jump. That if y'all read this book,
She does write sex very,
that
very well.
closet scene was crazy, man. For
It
real.
was. I was just mad that this is, I don't know. I'm a prude. I feel like there are women who have their phases where they just go wild. I'm just too buttoned up for that. So when I see her, like, she's having sex with him raw dog, I'm like, girl, you don't know what he got. Like, you don't know.
Sometimes you got to just say to the Lord, just not AIDS, God. Anything else you could deal with. Anything else you could deal with.
But I mean, herpes, that is something that you cannot get rid of. You know what I mean? And you don't always know.
A little hurt for work. Ain't nothing but a little hurt for work. Couple bumps ain't never hurt nobody.
I was reading Parachutes by Danielle Allen. It's that book that girl in our comments recommended, and I felt the same way. There's a scene in the book where she's known this guy for 2 weeks, Jay, and they have sex. He not only does it raw, she actually lets him bust up in her, and I just was like,
that's
come on. I'm just like, it's fire. STDs. I'm just too buttoned up for some things. I'll be reading it, I'll be like, girl, listen, at least get some protection. You don't know where that.
That's all you gotta say. You got your shots.
At least let's show my chart results. You know what I mean? Let me see yours in the past month.
And you gotta make it, man. I done had a couple of scary moments.
I can say that because I remember when I got my first razor bump, and I told y'all I've only ever been with Michael. So I got my first razor bump, and when we met, we was doing stuff we weren't supposed to be doing. We was not always using protection, and I literally thought that I had an STD, and it was a razor bump because I never had a razor bump before, and it scared me. And ever since then, I'm like, nope. Like, no. I'm really like, no. Use condoms, people, because you don't know what.
Normally the herpes zone is like a target, and then they got the bumps around it like
I didn't know. He was my first, and seeing that if you've never got a razor bump, I remember pulling up to Planned Parenthood, and she's looking at me like, "This is what you thought was." I was like, "Yes." She was like, "This is a razor bump," and I felt like
I got herpes.
I thought it was something. I was like, I've never had a bump. I shave all the time. I've never had this, and I had it, and I was like, no, so that just scares me. So whenever I read books and the women are raw dogging it, I'm always like, you never know what somebody has. It takes one time unprotected to get pregnant,
to get an STD. I'm just messing around. You know what I mean? That is true. Make sure y'all definitely protect yourselves. It's dangerous out here. Me and Kia married, so we don't have that problem.
Literally,
you know what I'm saying? But be out there. Make sure y'all protect yourselves. I was just joking, but you gotta
like have your whole face. I do not judge, but just wrap it up.
You still gotta protect yourself.
Protect yourself.
Please.
Yep. Don't be going on these books and thinking that you can do that because they don't get nothing in the books, but that ain't how real life works. Okay.
Real life works. Exactly. Now,
and our final verdicts. Would you recommend this curvy romance to readers? Who is the ideal reader for this book? One trope you loved and one trope you wish the book had. I'll leave it to Jay.
I would recommend this to men. Okay. I would recommend men start reading more romance. And I know the guys in the bookish space, we kind of read stuff like, well, not me, but I know people like Red Rising. They like mythical stuff. They like more or less Brandon Sanderson. But come over to the fantasy. I mean, come over to the romance, man. You're going to learn some things. You're going to learn some nice little lines. So far, I'm in 2 romances.
Yeah, I love that Jay is liking the romance.
Yeah, I'm really, this has opened me up to being more explorative, you know, in the bookish space. And I would definitely recommend this book to more men, especially if you in the dating scene.
Recommend it to women I would recommend the book to people who like women who are the yearners, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of the romance books that I am used to reading, the man is overly going for the woman. He's obsessed with her. He's doing all this stuff. I've read Big Girl Blitz and I've even read Curvy Girl Summer, and I feel like Danielle Allen writes books for the women yearner. Like the women in her books, they overly go for the men. And I don't even mean that in an insulting way. I just feel like they find the men that they like and they are overly going for them. Like Aaliyah overly was going for Ahmad this entire book. She was catering to his emotions and his feelings. She wanted him to be okay. And it's definitely a different dynamic, especially because you don't get dual point of view. You only see how Aaliyah feels. We don't really get to see how Ahmad feels. We can only interpret how he feels through how Aaliyah receives what he's doing. So that's why I said, if you're a woman and you are a yearner, like, you know what I mean? You go after what you want. These are the books for you, because I feel like Aaliyah is in charge of her sex life. She's in charge of her dating life. She takes the bulls by the horn. You know, she's not waiting for things to happen to her. She is going on these dates. She's having fun. And she's not waiting for things to happen to her. And I felt the same way about Big Girl Bliss. These are women who, you know what? I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do it. And they do it, okay? And they're beautiful. They're bold. They're confident. So I would definitely recommend it for women who are confident in their sexuality and they're not afraid to make the first moves. Absolutely.
I got you. One trope that I did love, big girls need love too. That's one of the
Yes.
tropes that I did love. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like for my plus size women out there, man, there's somebody for you. You're loved by family, by friends, and Mr. Right when he comes along.
Yep.
Don't let that situation or what the public or social media portray, you know what I mean? Like dictate how you live your life. You know, be healthy, take care of yourself. You know what I mean? You only get one and your body's a temple, but don't worry about that. You know what I mean? There's a guy out there that love you, that loves that. And I think that's one of the tropes that I did love. One of the tropes that I wish the book had. I like when children are involved. So I wish it was like, I get it, it's the summertime, you don't want no kids around, but the summer is for the kids. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't. It's an adult book, but summer's for the kids, and there was no representation of kids in this book. I get it, reason why it wasn't, but I would have liked to see like some kids in the book. So that's really it for me.
I think a trope that I really loved was the younger sibling syndrome. I don't know
Hmm.
what else to call it, but like people often expect the younger sibling to walk in the same path as the older sibling. That was really, really a big element of this book. Aaliyah's older sister, Anaya, is that what her name is?
Yeah, I think it wasn't.
Naya, I believe her older sister passed away, but her older sister had a husband. She had a great job. She was in shape. That's something her
And she
uncle
was
makes
pregnant.
sure to. Yeah, she was pregnant. She was over 30, I think, but she was about to have a baby. And Aaliyah is the younger sister, and her parents and her family put all their hopes and dreams onto her as the little sister. I really like that trope, and I think a lot of people who are the younger sibling would definitely understand how Aaliyah felt and wanting to carve her own path, live her own life, but having the expectations of your family to live up to your big sister and what they did. So the trope of, you mentioned children. I kind of like that Aaliyah didn't have kids. I think that there's this pressure for women, especially when they approach their 30s and even get in their 30s. Like, when are you going to have kids? And I think Aaliyah did the right thing. She wasn't ready to have kids. She wasn't going to settle for just any man. And that was okay. I really, really like that trope. One thing maybe I wish I would have seen more of was more romance. I don't know if that's a trope, but I just wanted more romance between her
In
and
the book.
Ahmad. Yeah, because they had a very jokey banter kind of thing, and they definitely have physical chemistry. You could see that in the moments that it would be sizzling. But I feel like he wasn't romantic. Like, there were several dates that she went on where they bought her drinks and they bought her flowers and the way they would
Hmm.
talk to her. And I didn't really see that from Ahmad. He didn't really give me the romance that I really wanted from this book. I feel like if he was more romantic to her, then the jokey banter would have leveled out. But he was just a jokey asshole the whole book to me. I wanted him to be more romantic. So one thing I wanted more of was the romance. And now we have reached the conclusion of our episode. And y'all know how we
Yeah.
do it over here at the BookFest Club. We don't give stars over here. We do bookmarks. And this is courtesy of Jay, who came up with the idea. 1 being the least, 5 being the most. So I will let my amazing co-host go first, since this is his second romance. What do you give this book, Jay?
5
I
bookmarks.
knew it.
5 bookmarks. I loved the book. I loved it from beginning to end. It worked like almost like a movie to me. Every week it was something new. The characters, the friends on both sides, the family. When she really went and finally put her family in their place, respectfully though. It shows that we don't talk about that part as well. When she went to her family and kind of just expressed herself like, yo, F it. She had a nice little a night about her sister, and then it was
And
like,
her
yo, just
sister
F
told her,
everything. Her
yep.
sister told everybody, just F everybody. So she went to her parents respectfully. She didn't go. I like how Danielle Allen wrote that. She didn't write it to the point where it was disrespectful. Even to her uncle was still spitting verbal jabs at her. And what she did, she kind of killed him with kindness
She
and just
did.
uninvited him to the party. She didn't curse her
Literally,
uncle
I was
out.
proud of her for that. Yep.
So she showed ultimate respect for her family. You know what I mean? Position of authority. You know, it was killing with grace, killing with kindness, and that's what she did. You know, and I just felt like that was like it was just all around a 5 bookmark book.
Okay. Mm,
What
I
about
feel
you?
like me and Jay are on opposite sides of this. I
Of
rated the
course.
book a 2.5 bookmarks. I know. The thing is, I thought I was. This is why I said I actually rated it 2 bookmarks. But as always, whenever I talk to you about the book, I find more things that I enjoyed than I think I figured out on my own. But for me, it was supposed to be a romance book. I didn't really feel a lot of romance between the two main characters. I didn't like that their relationship kind of started with her thinking that he was married and her falling for him and not respecting the boundaries that she should to a man that's married. I didn't like that her friends were encouraging the relationship. I didn't like that she was getting screwed in a stock closet. I just feel like, for me, I wanted better for Aaliyah. She was so smart. She was so beautiful. She was so sexy. Loved the way she dressed. She had a nice ass apartment. She had a nice ass job. And I just wanted her to have her happily ever after. And I just felt like it wasn't a mod. And that's just how I felt. I didn't like him. And there was a part of me that didn't 100% respect her for some of her decisions. And I tried to understand because that's not me. I don't want to be that person who's like, you got to live your life like I live it. But I will never be able to get behind a romance that starts when one of them is married or one of them thinks it's married and that person doesn't respect those boundaries. So I think that turned me off to Aaliyah and Ahmad's relationship very early on. And even finding out that he wasn't married and then waiting the whole 200 pages for him to even ask for her phone number was just kind of like, eh. So I didn't enjoy the book as much as I wanted to enjoy it. But I will say, I did read Big Girl Blitz, which is Jazz's story, and that book was a lot more emotional for me. And I think, for me personally, I like Jazz more than I liked Aaliyah, but we still have to read the second book, which is Nina's story, which I hear is. So I'm sure you'll hear us back again doing that book. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Jay, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, man. Check out Danielle Allen's Curvy Girl Summer. I know you're gonna love it, or you're not gonna love it, as we know, right? But until next time, man, do you have anything to say to the people?
Then please do not judge me for not liking this book. Y'all, I have a really bad experience with whenever I don't like a book by a Black author, I get called a coon. Please remember, reading is subjective. You know, so many people, literally, go check out that episode because it's on the BookFest Club where we talked about that. But I hope people understand reading is extremely subjective. Something that I like, you may hate. Something that I love, you may be like, and something that I hate, you may really, really love. And as you can see, me and Jay took in the book completely different. I'm not shaming him for his opinion of loving it. He's not shaming me for not enjoying it as much. You know, we just have to be as honest as we can. We're not going to like every single book here at the BookFest Club. And I think that's okay. That invites discussion. But what we're not going to do, please, is we're not shaming the author or anything like that. This is literally just about the book and how we like the book. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope everybody who loved it, please don't get mad at me, y'all. This just wasn't my book. But as y'all can see, Jay really, really loved it. And we are going to be tackling Nina's story because I kind of want to, I'm kind of interested now. And like, what Nina got going? You know, I didn't like her in Curvy Girl Summer, but I still want to check out her book. So please tune in because we will be doing her book. And that's it. That's all.
Man. Until next time, y'all, she's the reader. I'm just a speaker. Peace. Hey, Jules the architect. Can't forget my boy.
We miss you, Jules. He'll be on the other one.
Exactly. All right, y'all. We out.